big fights bring legacies. Now, there's been a big debate in the sport recently. Carl Froch kicked it all off by claiming that AJ doesn't have one, doesn't have a legacy. What defines a boxing legacy for you? Is it being able to sell out a stadium? Is it the big fights you had?
I think it's obviously winning the world titles, and it's the fights you're involved in, and not necessarily the winning the fights. It's sometimes how you win them. And I think, greatness is judged. Muhammad Ali was known as the greatest for things beyond boxing, for other things, like that. And arguably one of the greatest of all time, they say he's Floyd Mayweather. Do you know what I mean? And he, that probably is right. But, what's the point of being the greatest in the world if everyone thinks you're an idiot? Floyd is, Floyd, is the greatest in that boxing ring, but as a person, as a product and everything like that, I won't give him the time of day. Do you know what I mean?
Even now?
Yeah, I think it's just, what's he doing fighting YouTubers, Geordie Shaws, and, and no disrespect intended to them, you know what I mean? I just think, you're the greatest of all time. And you're having, he doesn't need anyone because he's Floyd Mayweather.
He's right,
I get that.
Ricky fought the great Barrera recently because they were both great fighters and still are.
But legacies are strange things because they operate in the space of whoever decides what legacy. Joe Calzaghe doesn't get the credit that he should get because Joe Calzaghe didn't court or didn't have the personality that certain people have.
Yeah, and a domestic rival such as Nigel and Chris had.
Yeah, possibly. But ultimately, a legacy is something that means you've been in with the best, you've achieved things that other people can't achieve, and you've never ducked anybody. I think that's what a legacy is. Yeah. I think he's got a legacy. I think beating Costa in the manner that he did, winning the WBA belt the way that he did, and going and fighting these other two guys, Pacquiao and Mayweather. He may well have lost. But notwithstanding that, look at the support he brought with him. Look at the outlook he brought into the ring. Look at the disposition that he had. Look at the challenges that he overcome. Look at the things he achieved, and look at who he ducked. Nobody. That means, and he won world titles as well. That means there's a full package there. That's a legacy.
Is Froch
That's
right?
a legacy.
Does AJ not have a legacy?
No, I think he does. I think he started off the sport young. He won an Olympic gold medal. He became the undisputed champion of the world. He lost it. He regained it. He's lost two fights on the bounce, but to Usyk, who was an Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion. So you can't say that AJ's not mixed. And I think the story's not finished yet. I think he has got a legacy, but I think it's exciting to see how much bigger that legacy can get if the right fights are made. I mean, if nothing happens from here on in, he's cemented himself, he's made his name and everything like that. But I mean, what he did with Klitschko when he won the title, that was a great fight. He was involved in, he's come back from adversity. He lost to Ruiz, he come back and regained the title. So I think it is a little bit unfair to say there's not a legacy there. I just think there's a little bit more to come from AJ.
If he fights Wilder,
could be a bit more to come.
If he fights Wilder later in the year, Ricky, does he come through that?
Oh my lord, that you'd pay to watch that, wouldn't you? Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? But
does he win it?
It's in the heavyweight division. As we know, anything can happen, can't you? But I mean, when we look through the big punching heavyweights through history, you think like your Ernie Shavers and your George Foremans and that. Wilder, technically, he might not be, but he's up there with him. You know what I mean? And when AJ, has been knocked down a few times, he has been stopped by Ruiz and like that. And I think sometimes with the punching power that Wilder has, he only needs to get one. Oh, yeah. Or even the draft if he missed.
Yes.
He punches that. He punches that
it's
hard.
Lights out.
But AJ, can hit himself, and he's technically better than Wilder. Do you know what I mean? So it's you toss a coin. But I tell you what, that would be good for our sport. That would be good for. I'd pay to watch that. I'd get up at 5 a.m. to watch that one.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.